Welcome everybody back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Fruits Basket, episodes 21 and 22. Let's just get right into it. Leave a like, subscribe, check out Patreon for uncut reactions, and to get a month ahead on Fruits Basket. Hope you enjoy. Let's go. Oh, flashback. Mm.
どうにもこの子は病弱で心配でもできずに愛想をつかされるんじゃないかしら。まあそのようなご心配は兄は言葉で語れぬ絆
Indescribable bond.
Surely.
YUKI
Coughing.
の前では咳をしないで。お連れいたしました。
自分の知らない胸の何かが叫ぶ。会いたかった、会いたくなかった。
先にお生まれになられた者の血気の方、これを絆と言わず何というのか、切れぬ縁でございましょう。
愛しくて憎らしい。
やっと会えたね、ユキ。
Kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm. Just like a super overwhelming mix of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
十二支の中で一番偉くて神様に一番近い存在なんだ。で、僕と同じように自分も特別なんだ。
秋との遊び相手として一日中外にも出ずに二人で過ごして何に対してもさして疑問を向けることもなく。
この席やめろよ、うざったいんだよ。
秋とも
Mm.
感触は起こしたけれど今のようではなかった気が。泣いてることもあった気がする。秋とをあやすしぐれの何が悲しかったのか悔しかったのか、それは突然訪れた。ねじれた。
僕の世界は真っ暗だ。楽しいようにダメだよね。秋とユキも真っ暗だ。僕一緒なんだから。
What does that mean?
真っ暗じゃなきゃダメじゃないと不公平だろ。違う。一緒なんかじゃない。
So he starts feeling like he's better than everyone else.
お前と一緒なんかじゃない。お前は僕のおもちゃなんだよ。お前僕にくれたんだ。でも同然なんだよ。僕いつお家に帰れるの？ねえ、なんだよ。誰も気にかけない。僕が構わなきゃ。お前がいる価値なんて。
ようやく気づいた。俺は口を聞いたこともなかった。
嫌われ者。そうなの、いるのよ、ずっと。本当？そう立ってるわよ。
That's so sad. Kyou just like lurking around outside wanting to get let in. Literally like a stray cat just waiting at the door. I'm waiting here to fight you.
ネズミのお前が全部悪いんだ。お前のせいで全部この世からいなくなればいいんだ。さっさとごと早く。ネズミは嫌われ者なんだ。お前なんか 気にかけない。勘違いしないで。いいかい？君の一生もは希望もないんだから。君すらも一生生きているんだ。いつか救われるの。
毎日、秋とも刻んでいった。
It's those flowers that were in the ending.
思えてきて、誰も君からつまらない人間。だって、救われ怖くなった。嫌っている目で見られるのは。
ご両親、こういう三昧らしいわよ。同じもののけ。子供を当主にお売りにやられて。どこも食うよ。真似できない。
誰かが迎えに来るはずもなかった。特に両親にとって。相馬の中での両親。
どうなのかしら。この子自分の顔いい学校に通わせてもらってる。帰り遅くなる。はい。ユキ、ちゃんと座りなさい。
So sad.
とても言いづらかった。していたし、そもそもどうやって関わったらいいのかわからなかった。でもそれは怒ってしまった。
いつも一人でつまんない。でもいいじゃん。友達。行こうぜ、ユキ。友達。初めての。
どうしようもなく嬉しくて、友達の中に相馬の子たちもいて、話になった。浮かれていたんだ。女の子に注意を払うことを忘れていた。
It all gets ruined.
結局、
So cute as
記憶を隠蔽することになった。
普通の人が知ったら気に悪がるよ。近寄らなくなるよ。勘違いするなって。お願い。お願い。消さないで。友達なんだ。初めてできた。帰りに見に行こうよ。
欲しかったものが抱きしめてくれる両親。帰りたいと願う家。
Momiji is so cute.
欲しかった。
ひどくなる一方だ。
今は愛しておいた方が。
ユキ、かわいそう。いいよね。お優しいですね、アキトさん。ユキ。死ぬの？
Jerk.
つまんない。
ゆるゆると弱っている。心が。
来ないわね、ご両親。来るわけない。でも、じゃあ、お嫁さんは？それって弟のことだって。今日って母親とさ、自殺したのもない。事故死になってるけど、自殺だよ。遺書まがいのものも残ってたらしい。亡くなったとか。生
How creepy would it be? You're just like so sick and you open your eyes and this psycho is just juggling like 2 feet in front of you.
葬式の席で父親にユキそうそう牛月の初春もユキのことネズミがユキのせいで自分は笑い物だから本当に嫌いだね
夜明けすら薄暗い。
僕も知らない何も知らない本当にいなくなったらその悲しさも似合わないよ初めて役に立てるだろうか嫌われて必要とされないならここにいる僕に意味なんて何もない死ぬの
弾けた。心のどこから弾けて飛んだ。駆け出したかった。夜明けすぐの街が人目まばらで、どこまでも走り続けた。
This is Forrest Gump's origin story.
Literally Forrest Gump.
走り続けた。
Oh. Oh, she out all night?
方法ですからもう少し静かに。
Oh.
そしたら大事な一人娘が行方不明探しに行ってくれよ
ですから。
可愛いもんつけて可愛いもんつけて可愛い
Do I have a picture, ma'am? Please.
What happened? Why are you stopping her? She's not allowed to. Is there like a curfew or
She's, I'm
something?
gonna get my old gang together, she said.
そういえばさっきこの辺りで
Tori, do you not hear your mom screaming in the distance?
Why is she crying?
Because she's lost.
She got lost like a block away from her house.
Maybe she's farther. He's so creepy. This is like when you're playing a video game.
So she just straight up didn't recognize him?
When they
Sure
were
didn't
little
remember.
kids.
I mean, he remembered her perfectly. I guess.
Yeah,
I
but-
guess the way that he put the hat on her, he never saw her. She never saw his eyes. I'm still holding on to the idea that the author probably wanted her to get her memory erased at some point because it's just. Oh.
He got so weak from running around all day, he turned into a rat.
So I'll just wait here.
He's so cute as a rat.
誰かが
And it gives him a bit of hope.
誰も覚えていなくても忘れてしまっても一体どっちがねそれよりも意志を先生は
この世は光に包まれた世界なんかじゃない。暗闇だけじゃない。
で、格好悪くて情けない言葉。
ちょっと
Sorry, I was just having a flashback from my entire childhood.
あんまり明るい記憶じゃないんだ。
It's not a very bright memory. Bro, you remembered your whole life.
一度だけ。とても小さくて名前も聞かなかったから、その子だなんて気づきもしなかったけど、頑張ろうって思ったんだ。闇だけじゃない。頑張って生きてみようって。だった。 心がちゃんと分かった。また少しずつ負けていった。暗闇は大きく重く、玉は俺もねじれていった。希望は絶望へ、同型は曽根見え。友達になってほしかっただけのくせ、最後には自分の殻に閉じこもって世界を拒絶して自分をどうしようもない。でもこんなどうしようも、彼女はもう一度現れた。そばにいて、俺のこんな俺の話を聞いてくれ。呆れるでも叱るでもなく、何度も受け止めてくれた。愛しい人のように近く、遠いお母さんみたいに。さよなら明日は戻らない、これはあなたに。俺は嫌なんだ。
You think that one?
Nice little flashback.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad that Yuki's friends with that guy. I can't remember what his name is. The other guy on the student council.
Kakeru, Manabe Kakeru.
I really like that, and I really like him kind of, you know, like we see the whole flashback, and obviously, you know, he's not saying all of that out loud, but then he opens up more than he pretty much has to anyone else. Even TOHRU, really. Like, she gets a lot of her information about him kind of from other people, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't have that much to say, but it's just nice. And interesting to see that, because we've been speculating lately about, you know, what is Akito, like, what's his deal? Like, was he just born this, like, demon spawn? Or, like, who raised him to be like that, you know? And it's really interesting, and I wonder, you know, obviously from Yuki's perspective, it's like one day he was just evil. One day he was like super depressed and like trying to throw ink all over the room so it could match how he felt inside. But I'm interested to see if later on we get an Akito episode, you know, what like triggered that event, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it seems like there was definitely something, but they're still holding it back from us. But they are showing us that when he was a kid, you know, he would still have like temper tantrums or, you know, get mad, but in a normal kid way, not in a manipulative, controlling way, you know? So it's like, oh, you're here to play with me, and oh, I don't like you coughing, and I'm upset because I'm, you know, a child.
Spoiled,
and don't know how to deal with that. And then, yeah, we see again Shigure comforting him, you know, hinting at that even more than that one little flash of them. So, yeah, I feel like this flashback was really good, kind of like reestablish, and also a good place to come back because we took a couple weeks off. So it's like we're seeing Yuki's story, which we've seen a lot of times, but in more detail, and it gives us a lot of insight into Akito and his deal. And they also mentioned the former head of the family, so that is, like, we've also been talking about that, like, what is the deal with the previous person and how, you know, what the relationship with that was. So I'm really interested to see more, and how Akito originally is like, oh, Yuki, you're the rat, like, because the rat was the first one to the feast, basically. So it's like, oh, we're special, you're like the first one, and I'm like the head one, so that means that we're the same and we're special. And also the fact that they're similar in age probably helps as well. So it's
well, Akito is like 3 years older.
Yeah, but closer than to Shigure, or, you know, some of the other kids, like Momiji, who's like a lot littler. So it's just interesting to see how he's like, we're the same, like, kind of like, oh, you're like my brother, or you're like my best friend, we're so close, we're so similar. And then he's like, actually, I hate you, and you're weak, and everyone hates you. I hate you like how everyone hates you, but also only I can love you, even though everyone hates you.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm thinking is, like, we still haven't seen, this is like purely Yuki's perspective as like a child. So I do think as well, I'm interested to see when they do show, and I'm assuming that we probably eventually, whether it's at like the season finale of this episode or like later in season 3, if we might get kind of the whole story but Akito's perspective. So I'm interested to see, if, he's learning all these things about the zodiacs of like, oh, well, you're the rat and you came first, so that means that, we're gonna be best friends. And then it's like, if someone else is teaching him, like, no, these people are all beneath you.
I think they're setting that up to be Shigure, but I don't think it is Shigure.
I don't think it is him.
They're setting it up like, oh, he met with Shigure that one day, or Shigure started comforting him more and more, and then he started turning into an asshole.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's definitely someone else, possibly his mom, possibly one of these other like older ladies that are like around the house.
I think the fact that they're keeping that person
secret
means it's probably his mom.
Mm-hmm. But what was I saying? That I feel like when we get that perspective, if we do get it, there will be more of a build up kind of behind the scenes, and then like one day it's like too much for him because he's also just a kid. Mm-hmm. It's like Reen's adoptive family or whatever, how it's like, oh, they're so great, and then one day they just lose it. Mm-hmm. It's like Akito, and they're like adults, and obviously they were repressing a lot of things, but if Akito behind the scenes, it's this whole thing of like the cycle of abuse, so it's like, is he being abused or just like led astray, or like, getting all these thoughts kind of given to him, and then he like internalizes it and struggles between.
But again, it's the one day thing.
That's what I'm saying is like, is that it's just like the day that he snapped, or is that Yuki's memory of like not really picking up on all of the signs that it was leading towards that way, because he was just let's say,
didn't question anything, like he said.
Yeah, like if he's whatever, like 10 and Akito's 13, and like, a bit more of a teenager, and starting to, like, a 3-year age gap is not that much, but like there's a few like critical points that it is like very vast, and I think that Yuki just going along every day I just play toys with Akito, and then one day Akito's like, I am depressed and I hate everything and I'm better than everyone. And like, for Yuki, it might have seemed like everything was fine, and then one day it wasn't. But if from someone else's perspective, there might have been that build up, but Yuki either maybe just not remembering all that stuff because every day kind of just blurred together, and like that was the one thing that stood out, and that was when it got really bad. But like, maybe there was other signs along the way.
I think they're saying there was, but my point is, like, we see the interaction where it happens, and Akito goes from like saying all this shit to being like, no, you suck, I'm better, I'm the chosen one, I'm a god. Like, it just kind of ramps up like that, and there's a change in the intonation of the voice actor. And what I'm trying to get at here is that this is a drama, and it's the most dramatic thing to have these big moments where everything snaps. But in real life, rarely is there, like, there's usually a climax in like, if somebody has a mental breakdown, there's usually like the moment where they like explode or whatever. But in these things of abuse, like in the way that it's described and in the way that I would expect, it's more like it's a slow increment, like was being described. But the way I'm talking about, like with Yuki's mom sort of just exploding like that, and then Akito exploding like this, and then everybody, it's because it's a drama and because of the format that the story is being told in. There's these big moments of explosion, and that's what I'm trying to say is like, these huge explosive climactic whole chain shifts in the dynamic are necessary for the story, but I think if the story might have benefited from more respect given to the slow incremental thing, but then you wouldn't have the climax where Akito says all these crazy things, or Yuki's mom says all these crazy things, or whatever it is. And in some cases it is warranted, like I think with the cat reveal and everything, I think that big moment, like, Kyou becomes like suicidal and he runs off, and then Tohru has to like fight to like, you know, is this big, you know, I'm not saying I don't like climactic moments. It's just like there's I'm not even saying like it's a like or dislike thing. I'm just kind of talking about it. And yeah, I hate Yuki's mom so much, and I still don't like how I still don't like her. I still don't like her. I don't like her. I still disagree with the idea that Yuki should be wasting his time trying to fix her.
It's really interesting how like very opportunistic she is, and it's also so interesting in the flashback part of this episode how it's like everyone is like, oh, being the rat is like the best. It's like, this is the best thing. Like Akito's like, you're the best because you're the rat. That means you're like me. You're special. You're awesome. And then even with his mom, it's like, oh, like she got paid off a lot of money. She's like living lavishly and going on vacations.
She has a driver
because
now.
She had the rat, and like, you know, with Kyo's mom being like, oh, I wish like if I was gonna have a cursed child that it was at least like the good one, not this shitty one. And then it's just really interesting how like over the course of the episode it's like, oh, it's so good to be the rat, and then it's like, well, all the good thing, it's like, oh, it's so great, but also now he got sold off because he's so great. He can't live the normal life of the other kids because he's so great. He got put in a school, a better school than everyone else. And he's alone. And, you know, because he's so special, he's always by himself or with Akito, which is not that nice. So it's this whole thing of like, oh, you're so special. Let's like put you over up on the shelf where no one can touch you. And then it's like, and then over time it's like, oh, actually, everyone, you're so special, so no one likes you. The cat doesn't like you because you're on the inside and you're like, you know, at the top. And the whatever ox or bull, the ox doesn't like you because you tricked him as the rat and you got there before him. It's like, oh, you're at the top, so it's awesome. But then it's like, oh, you're at the top, so everyone hates you, kind of thing. But he doesn't have the protection of Akito, where they have to love him no matter what. Little Tohru's so cute.
Yeah, and we finally got the whole thing of the whole
it's also
situation. Why was she lost?
I don't know. Lost. I guess she was just lost.
She just ran out one night. Oh, did we, maybe I thought originally I thought that they were like out playing, but she just describes them as playing. But this doesn't feel like she was playing. It doesn't feel like they were. I figured they were like hanging out at one day, and then he gave her the hat. But because it's just the way I guess all she said was that she met a boy.
Yeah, she was lost and she met a boy.
Yeah. And
he gave her the hat. It's also interesting that it's Kyo's hat, which makes sense why Kyo kept looking at the hat constantly, and we're like, what's the deal with Kyo and this hat? We already know it's Yuki, even though they didn't confirm that it was Yuki, but they pretty much did. And then, but Kyo kept looking at the hat weird, which makes sense because it was Kyo's hat that he gave to Yuki, and then Yuki went to give back to Kyo, but then he just gave it to Tohru instead, kind of randomly, and then we have this last line like of like a mother, and that's Tohru, which makes sense because Tohru is supposed to be, you know, this picture of motherliness, this like picture of wifely femininity, caring, supportive energy that is the better version of the devouring mother, which is the symbol for Akito, as we've said a bunch of times. Akito is the devouring mother, this thing that like sends mixed signals to their kids, you know, you're always protective, but the protective nature is actually a front for their like desire not to be alone. So they like, you know, you see it in boy moms, as they say, the moms who like never let their son have like a girlfriend, or always try to take precedence over their son's girlfriend, or I'll be the most important woman in my son's life.
Yeah, that type of energy. That's classic devouring mother. This Oedipal kind of situation, and so that's what Akito represents. And then I don't know, I always blank on like the reverse of that, the opposite, the good version of that archetype, because it's like a historical thing. It's literally as old as Oedipus or older. So like how old was Oedipus?
like ancient Greece.
Yeah.
So like quite a while ago.
Long time ago. Anyway, I forget what the reverse archetype of that, but that's kind of what Tohru is. We've kind of said that pretty much since like episode 1 or 2.
It's interesting with this line because it's kind of seemed like I can't remember exactly what episode, but it's this thing where it seems like Yuki is kind of like giving up on Tohru a little bit as a romantic interest. He's finding friends outside of her. He's okay, he's friends with Kyou, and obviously he doesn't want Kyou to hurt Tohru when he gets locked up. But he's almost like facilitating their relationship in some ways, like when Toru's like, "Oh, Kyou, come sit over here and watch the fireworks with us," and then Kyo's like, "No, I'm okay," and then Yuki gets him all riled up, so he comes and sits by Tohru to watch the fireworks. So it's this interesting thing of him, and I'm wondering if this and him talking about it is, he's going through this period of reconciling his feelings of like, do I love her in a romantic way, or do I just love her because she's like a very important person in my life that I will always cherish and will always be very special, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in a romantic way. It can be in like a family way. And I wonder if like this, where he's talking about that and like talking about her like a mother, if it's kind of a continuation on that, and his feelings going more in that direction. Yeah,
I think so too. I think that's like a sort of I wonder, it's the kind of thing that I wonder how much was planned. And you'd have to read the manga, I think, to see at the beginning, because I think in the beginning of the anime, looking back, and especially with Tohru being a little kid and being like, I want to save the cat. I wonder if that was a part of, I don't know if it was a part of the manga. If that was part of the manga, I think that's a kind of a signpost that the Kyou-Tohru pairing was kind of intentional from the beginning. But the way that everything's kind of evolving, it makes it seem like the Yuki-Tohru companionship was something that was entertained as a possible endpoint, but over time has been slowly phased out to something, like it's intentionally being phased out and changed. The nature of it is being changed, or the direction is being altered. But I don't know if that's just a consequence of the story moving forward, and it was always like supposed to be Kyou and Tohru, or if it was always supposed to be this kind of love triangle thing, and then it was, they maybe hadn't decided yet at the beginning of the story, and then at this point, I don't know if it was always intentional to be Kyou, and it was all just kind of a song and dance with Yuki. But the way that Yuki and Tohru interacted, especially in mid season 1, felt very much like they were the main pairing. We've talked about this a bunch, but
yeah, I think it still comes down to like, I feel like it was, because I feel like it was said too, before, like with the way that Yuki and Tohru interacted, it was always more formal, or always more like grand gesturally. It was always like a moment, whereas with Kyou and Tohru, it was like gradually building, and then they have obviously the really big moment when like his like evil spirit, his true form comes out. But then after that, they just like go back to normal, but like stronger, and then like keep building, Whereas with Yuki, it's always like he gives her a present, and it's like this like very romantic and like very beautiful moment, but then...
So you think those were always just teases, is what you're saying?
I guess, I don't think that it was teases, but I think it was just showing like different types of like Yuki shows his care for Tohru in a different way than Kyou does. Kyou is like checking in on her and like monitoring how she's feeling and trying to make her feel at ease at all times and like spending time with her. Whereas Yuki, and possibly because of the way that he was raised, it's like, oh, I really like the way that she's making me feel, and she makes me feel loved and safe or whatever, so I will like get her this present and then like give it to her to show her, you know what I mean? It's like it's just a different way of expressing how you feel, but it always felt like just less relaxed, I guess. And I don't think it's to say like, oh, that it was just a tease or whatever. I think that Yuki is just different than Kyou, and I think Tohru more lines up with Kyou's personality and like way of expressing his feelings towards her, you know?
Right. Right.
Right.
Right. Obviously. Leave a like and subscribe. Let's move on to the next one. Episode 22. Let's go. I feel like from the beginning he never acted like she was just some weird girl who lived in a tent. He kind of acted from the beginning like he recognized her. Am I wrong? Yeah, see this line. If my memories got erased, please make friends with me again, okay? After we just learned about memories getting erased, and he was like warning her not to go to Hatori. It feels like it was kind of implied that her memory in the original outline probably got erased. Because after that, he tries to be friends with her.
Yeah.
He was being all weird about it because she got. I feel like it was the whole Hatori thing was setting up their kind of relationship. Yeah, because then she meets Hatori, who erased his fiance's memories, and then there was this conundrum of like, oh, will he he could still try it, or he had the chance to like reconnect with her, but didn't for her own happiness, implying that there was something maybe with TOHRU as well. Like I feel like it was all kind of like tightly sort of wound up and like tied together in like a weird little knot that was like all these connecting threads together, implying that. But I guess I'm wrong. I guess the story never was supposed to go that direction, and Carson's just fucking crazy. That's it.
I think it could have been going in that direction, but but I'm not really mad that it didn't.
I'm not mad that it didn't either. It's just I just feel like it would have been it was a
cool.
great reveal that I feel like was gonna happen, but then the story kind of went in a different direction, or not even. I feel like the story went in the same direction. That's the thing, is that the story went in the same direction. They just didn't do that thing, and I feel like you'd be able to have the exact same story. Yes. I've always yearned for it. What?
親の愛情よく知らなくてだから嬉しかったな俺の弱音を嫌な顔一つしないでいてくれたこと受け止めてくれたこと弱い人間もいるんだってことを否定しないでくれたこと安心したんだ降り続く優しさに無償の愛に満たされて眠る子供のように体も心も忘れ出して甘えられる場所でもそうだったんだお母さんをはめていたんだ本田さんにいつの間に女の子なのに気づいたのはなぜだろうだった気がする今日があの姿になった夜追いかけていった彼女の姿は女だったそう見えたんだでも俺にとってはやっぱり異性である前に
Yes, literally exactly what you were saying.
どうしたいわけでもないただひたすら居心地のいい場所で甘えていたい焦った自分のそういう考えに気づいた時すごく恥ずかしくて認めたくなくて気づかないふりをした、すぐに言ったそんなことないって男として接しようとでもさ、それってそんな悪いことなの？恋人に母親を求めるなんて話よく聞くしで理屈こねてさ単に諦めてるだけと違うほら、今日に叶わなそうとか思ってさ
I beat him every day. It's
I love
fine.
it feels like the author just called themselves out. It's just like, are you just kind of twisting the logic that way because you just lost to him? It's like, no, of course not. As a confirmation, that's not what I'm doing.
あいつにだけはでもそんなことが理由じゃないんだとかいいとか悪いとか正しいとか間違いそ
Hey, we need our ball back.
それはそれでいいんだ。そんなことはどうだっていいんだ。俺は嫌だ。俺は嫌なんだ。そんなの寂しいんだ。今度こそ自分の力で。君がくれたたくさんの優しさやぬくもりを糧に、もう一度歩き出したい。暗闇に負けたくない。信じて進みたい。今度こそ諦めてるわけじゃなくて、諦めが悪い。本当に欲張りなんだ。俺だけの見つけ出したい。
必死になってるやつも珍しい。
Don't cry. Let me smack you in the face.
ありがとう、君。様子見に来てくれたの？
Am I delirious right now?
話しちゃったからかな。そりゃあ、今まで全く違う世界にいた人間に聞いてもらえたって実はすごく優しいからかな。
Hey, we need that.
だからなんでそっちに。
大好きだから。彼女に。
そりゃあ、気にされたくないんだ。今はかけたくない。一緒に暮らす時間はまだ残る。他人のことを優先する彼女は気に病みすぎてしまうかもしれない。
ユキって。つかさ、俺には彼女でもいいんだ。すっげえ不安だ。夢。
伝えられる日は来る。
Will you adopt me?
I was gonna say, you might have to get used to calling Kyou daddy from now on. If that's the road he's gonna take.
Right, the Cinderella play.
ビデオに絶対撮んなきゃダメ。
I wonder if does this count as Kyou beating Yuki, because they were talking about all that with Kokoru there.
Mm. She's like, but I want him to be there. Just hugs him.
今意地悪されてるのお前じゃん。小学生レベル。お前、いつからそこに。さて、いつからでしょう。これどうぞ。配ったの？はい。ユキ君の分も。あの帽子だけど、今は本田さんの手元にある。わざわざ返さなくてもいいよな。
Why is he so mad about it?
お腹空いたよ。とりあえず。
俺は後でいい。
Why is he so upset about that?
Just makes him upset to remember that time of his life, probably. And maybe he thought that Yuki didn't remember.
So bad about him remembering.
尊い人。幸せになってほしい。だって君だけの証を見つけていいんだ。自分らしく。たまには全て怒れる場所。その時に伝えることも。
I wonder if
まっすぐに。
I wonder if Kyoko gave him that hat.
聞いたよ。
That's why it was.
だけど
Oh,
So he lost it, and then Yuki found it, and then Win found Tohru.
that would be really cool.
So it's gonna lead to them.
Oh,
Oh, he's doing the
The
costumes.
costumes.
Oh, great.
as the fairy godmother. A costume changes. It's like Cinderella's supposed to be the one with like the magical transforming ball gown, but the fairy godmother just comes out with like reveal after reveal. This isn't working out. I feel like maybe they should switch.
熱入ってるね。
I would say so.
そんなことないって。こんなことではいけません。頑張らなければ。そう。衣装を作った方たちへの恩返しの意味も込めて。
やあやあ、さまよいきってる子羊たちよ。僕は来たよ。
I wonder if the Yuki Appreciation Club is gonna just go insane over this.
Yeah,
guy.
they're gonna just explode.
Or if they just hate him. What if they just hate him?
This is music.
All the people in the back. They clearly just wrote it. Oh boy, the new model as well. Who's gonna be a model?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
What? I feel like there's an easier way. Like, I feel like you could just switch those two and it would be completely fine. Although Hana might not be able to be mean to Tohru either.
Where the fuck is this going?
He's not even coming to rehearsal. So bad.
あいつの演技も。
それが家で逃げてるって話があるんじゃないかな。生徒会にいないから、ついでに探してくるよ。
He's thinking about that hat. She gave me that hat and then I lost it and she died.
Mm.
Call that shit.
ガキみたいに
Mm.
何をしてるんだ。練習戻れ。お前を待ってる。ヤキのゲーム。てめえのせいでずっと最悪な気分にさせられてるだけだ。だったら俺に直接文句を言えばいい。そういう態度が最高のことを楽しんでる。バカにしやがって。何にも知らねえくせに。父親も母親も
一緒何にも手に入れられないやバカなやつのバカな望みなんか一生
そうであってほしい。
自分が困るんだろ。
Kyoko said that?
Mm.
Basically told him that it's the easy way out to hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's partially why he gave up the hat, is because
そんなところで何してるんですか？
Oh.
he knew he couldn't take her advice.
なんかあったんですか？
なんでもないよ。大丈夫。こんにちは、山岸さん。マチも。二人のクラスって確かバザーだっけ？
はい、そうです。会長のクラスはシンデレラですよね。楽しみにしてます。
ありがとう。
でも、やっぱ王子って言えば相馬先輩って感じなのに。ね、倉木さんもそう思わない？思わない。会長はどこも王子らしくなんかない。なんか人をバカにしてるっぽいというか、クラスでも起きまくりで変わったこと言えば注目されると思ってんのかな。なんかそういうのって。あ、京くん、よかったです。ゆきくんが探しに行ってくださったきり戻られなかったので。
他の連中は？
帰られました。今日の練習は終わりました。
She's been waiting there for him.
待ってたのか。
これを見てほしくて。台本の直しです。ぜひ一度目を通してほしいです。きっと前よりもやりやすい役にしてくださってるはずです。安いように変えてくださったんですよ。
What are you, the nice stepsister? There's the evil stepmother, the evil stepsister, and then the nice stepsister.
一人で何を思いながら待っていてくれたの？
I was thinking about this play. It's really cool. just there's no deeper thought to anything.
さんを心配させて楽しいか？
京くん、手に怪我。
しょうがねえ。観念す。お前、絶対笑うなよ。じゃあ、今日は帰るか。行くぞ。さよなら、明日は。
What'd you think of that one? Wait.
シンデレラっぽいもの。
What'd you think of that one?
I really liked this episode. I liked getting the conclusion on Yuki's whole thing and how he thinks about Tohru and stuff. Kind of like what I was saying at the end of the last discussion of, yeah, he just didn't know how he because of his lack of relationships with people, he didn't really know how to navigate his feelings, and was trying to be like, oh well, if I'm feeling this strong of a connection to her, then like I need to try and make it a romantic connection because that's what's kind of acceptable or normal. But then in the end he kind of realizes that it's different than Tohru and Kyou, and it's kind of his own thing, and realizing where that comes from, of him not having a family and not having anyone who cares about him like that. So I really like that. It's also really interesting as well, like the parallels between Yuki and Kyou, and how Kyou always feels like, oh well, you always like had all this stuff. It comes back around to like, oh, isn't it so great to be the rat, that it's actually so terrible to be the rat, and isn't it so terrible to be the cat? But also, Kyou had Shisho and someone who really cared about him. It wasn't perfect, and his actual family is not good, but at least he has someone in his life that really loves him and cares about him. And a lot of things have to do with him pushing people away and him choosing to hate people, whereas Yuki he was cold to people because he thought he was hated by everyone. He wasn't hating other people. He just felt like he was being hated. So it's Yeah, it's just interesting how they're still, Kyo's still lashing out at Yuki even though he knows that it's not productive and not even how he really feels. He just feels like he has to have something to hate or someone to hate, something to kind of put that energy to, because it's easier than, kind of
working through those
Yeah.
feelings. Yeah. Yeah.
just like with Yuki, it's like easier to find, be like, oh, I romantically love this girl, rather than admit that he basically has mommy issues and, wants someone to kind of fill that void.
Yeah.
But also I do like that then he, recognizes that and decides that he wants to, be his own person and like seek out that kind of relationship on his own, aside from TOHRU, now that he has like learned a lot from her and their relationship. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The play, I don't know, I'm excited to see it, but it's so silly because it's just like them being like, yeah, maybe we've miscast this. It's like, I think so. I think you probably have. You have like, I also I love the costuming aspect. It's just like, oh, my special brother, I will come and save the day by making these costumes. It's like, this is going to be the best costumed high school play that has ever existed in the world. But they're also probably going to be so dramatic, and I can't wait to see, Yuki in his beautiful ball gown and, everyone
Yuki
else.
in his ball gown?
Yeah, because he's the fairy godmother.
Right.
Who's like, in the like big like magic sparkly cape usually. Yeah.
Good episode. Leave a like and subscribe. See you next one, Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.